this whole governance that we have adopted from the foreign culture has actually corrupted the environment of the homes, and as a trigger point, it led to the making of the society. It is said that when we are too much colonized, there are chains in our toes. We can cut the chains, but how do you rub the impression out? It takes long to rub out the impression, and we are trying to rub out the impression because they are very deep and dark. So when we talk of self-governance models, the four things come in my mind. The first model is Ram Rajya. And I'm not talking Ram Rajya as a slogan or maybe as a popular nomenclature, because it talks about Trivarga. It talks about Dharma, Arth, Kam. And that is why Ram is important, because when we say Dharma, it is Raja Raghu, Arth is Raja Dilip, Kam is Raja Dashrath, and then it ultimately comes to Ram, we may call it Moksha. But then I'm not talking of Moksha because our scriptures, they talk about Ram Rajya as Trivarga. And the Raj Dharma is to make a balance of the Trivarga. Then the second model comes up, and the second model is the Bodh Ganarajya. So when we talk of Bodh Ganarajya, it's very interesting. Where do we find them? Do we find them in Ladakh? Do we find them in Sikkim? Do we find in Arunachal? Do we find in Indonesia, Burma, Sri Lanka? We found two types of traveling of Bodh. And one type is the scholarship, which went through China. The another is monarchical, which went through Sri Lanka. So we found both the types of transmission of Buddhism. One which is for the purpose of spiritual progress, and the second which is for the purpose of the Bodh kingdoms. And they all survived because they assimilated themselves with the local indigenous cultures. So we have one aspect of Thailand Buddhism, one as Chinese Buddhism, one as Ladakhi Buddhism, one as Sikkim. Like, they have the adaptability, and they also rolled in the same principles which were given to the people, where they moved together, Sangachadvam Samvadadvam. So this model is again talked about since Mahabharata times. It's not something which is a new phenomena. And we find 258 Ganarajya in Mahabharata, which actually happened to be found till 5th century CE, because the archaeological witnesses and the other, the coins, the paintings, the inscriptions, they endorse the existences. But what we are more concerned in today's time is two types of self-governance. One written by Gandhi, Hind Swaraj, and initially Gandhi wrote it in Gujarati, and the title was Hind Swaraj, not Swaraj. And when he was talking of Swaraj, what made him to change into Swaraj to Swaraj? Because he might have, because the English translation has the title of Swaraj and Gujarati has Suraj. So when we talk of Swarajya, we find in scriptures there are 8 types of kingdom, and Swarajya is one type of kingdom, and the ideal state of Swaraj is Virat. And Virat is where there is no king, a kingless state. It can happen when there is self-governing models which are adopted by the society in an automatic shape. But the fourth model which has generated, and now we have to compare both Gandhi and Pandit Deen Dayal, because he talks of Ekatma, he talks of Chiti, he talks of Virat. Now here comes the legacy of Mahabharata, that Swaraj, which was propagated in Mahabharata, they talk of Virat, a kingless state, and when it comes down to Pandit Deen Dayal, he is also talking of the same, but with an indigenous model. I give you one small example, because I have studied diaspora a lot. Our diaspora, if you ask the embassies how many OCIs have been documented, they are not even 1/4 of them. Comes graduate. The moment the boy graduates, this temple gives the boy 25 lakh to 30 lakh to go abroad and get settled, and that community is flashed a message that this boy is now ready to come. We have already given him money. He is coming. Please help him to settle down. And by the evening, that community, it just parallels that hundi. They just deposit $500, $200, $50, whatever is the capacity of that community. This is how the community migration system with security is happening in our many states. And this gives us more secured model than the model given by the government, where they appoint the agents and they have to ensure certain things, and then they have to report back to government, where so much of underhand dealing is there, where the young boys and girls end up paying so much money to go abroad. So when we talk about the self-governance model, it is right there. We have to find out the success, and I think that is the reason that this Atmanirbhar Bharat is an answer to the government employment, because more and more startups and entrepreneurship is now being asked about, trainings are being asked about. So when we have to open up the curtain for the Atmanirbhar Bharat, this is the only answer, or we have to trace out the legacy and go for the Swaraj, with Swaraj, of course with the Raj Dharma. And that is what my take is. Thank you so much for inviting.